Do you ever find when it's time to finally have that hard conversation or go after that task or that new way of life that your body takes you in the opposite direction? Sometimes we see this as a physiological block, an emotional block. Tears can stop us from saying no. Joking, we can joke when we feel nervous, and it's not funny. You want to speak up and say something to advocate or to share your opinion or to set a boundary, and you get a brain freeze. You can't think of the words to say. Sometimes our body has something to say, and we need to listen to it so we can get free. So maybe you're not ready to go after that task today. Maybe it's costing you too much to think about going there. But that's what you can decide for yourself. And if you have the insight to make that decision, then you can create that opportunity to go after that task or that conversation in the future. And you can have peace about where you are right now. But a lot of you might be ready to finally go after it and get that change in your life, and you're sick of feeling run by this emotional block. What is an emotional block? It's when your body is operating off of a belief from the past that does not apply to today. So when we're young, our brain operates from the back and it grows forward. So the limbic system, the amygdala, right? These are parts of the brain that collect memories and give an automatic response to protect us. So we hear about this when we talk about anxiety and fear, but that's really what's going on with an emotional block. Your brain has some sort of information that you're not evaluating, that you're not taking care of. So that's what we want to look at. So I'm going to walk you through a few questions, and let's see if you can pinpoint what is the emotional block in your life that's stopping you, and what do you want to pick to do going forward. You should be able to have peace about staying where you are or proceeding forward, either way, once you've gone through these few steps. So the first step is, what is the cost? What is the risk for you to stay where you are? Are you getting really sick of it? Sick of the way people are treating you? Sick of being late? Sick of incomplete tasks? Sick of being tired or lazy because you can't get yourself to get up or go to bed early or do what you got to do? Sick of how your body feels because of the way you take care of yourself? Sick of the way your relationship is with your child or your spouse or your partner? What area of your life are you suffering from an emotional block? Okay, you got it? Good. So the next question is going to be the risk for you to go after that task, to be bold and say what matters to you, to set that boundary with your child, to start that homework assignment early, to get to the gym after work. What's the risk? I'm going to give you some examples, and then you can think through which one applies to you. Physical fatigue, boredom, stress, conflict, emotional discomfort, anxiety, nerves, loss, abandonment, rejection, pain, disappointment, disapproval. So which of those applies to your situation? All right, so once you figure that out, then you have to decide, is the cost of putting it off worse? Is it more painful than the risk of actually just going after it? Think of those outcomes for you. Now, we do find that the boredom, the stress, the potential disconnect, the consequences of going after this task might cost you, but they won't be as bad as you thought. In fact, usually that's the case. And another trick to find out is that they're usually happening anyway. So one example is when it's time to get your child to pick those clothes up off the floor and you're afraid of the conflict that would come with it. There's dysfunction there if you don't. You're feeling stuck if you don't, stuck if you do. So are you ready to take the risk of that conflict so that you can pick the stuck that you're feeling today? It's with intention. If you're going after that homework assignment or that work project or that phone call that you don't want to make and it's uncomfortable, can you have a peace about it because you picked it versus feeling stuck because you can't get yourself there? So think that through. And then finally, when you make your decision, rest in it. It can be victory to feel uncomfortable. I'm doing this task that I don't like and it's really uncomfortable and I hate it, but I picked this today, so I'm feeling victorious. Or, no, I'm not in a place to get my house organized right now, so I'd rather pick the mess than to try to add that onto my plate. I have too much going on. So it's receiving grace for yourself when you're not ready to go through that obstacle versus pushing through it and feeling terrible that you can't. Sometimes your body's right. It's too risky. The cost is too great to go after it. And there's other times where, the pain is bad enough avoiding it that I'm ready. I'm ready to go ask that person out, or I'm ready to say that thing I need to say to my girlfriend or to my spouse or to my boss. Maybe the relationship is so dysfunctional that you're willing to shake it up a little bit by getting what you need. All right, so hopefully that's given you some new perspective. And then motivation and peace usually come when you've had an intentional decision that you've made. So hopefully this insight, these questions have gotten you there. I'd love to hear feedback. I love getting messages after these videos of how these applied to you. So keep them coming and let me know what you think. Take care.